On returning from the hunt, Dracula approaches the crib, where his newborn daughter Mavis lies. The happy father spends the evening with his little girl, while conferring with the foreman, who he commissioned to build the safest and most secure castle. Growing up, Mavis increasingly looks outside, dreaming of finding out what's behind the heavy door, but Dracula, panicked, shields her from evil people. The Count also reads such books before bedtime, so that her daughter is terrified at the thought of people. The day comes when Mavis learns how to turn into a bat. This moment coincides with the completion of the hotel, around which the foreman has organized serious security. Our days, Hotel Transylvania becomes a popular place in the mystical world. The first to arrive is the werewolf family, a family of many wolves, with a herd of wolf cubs. The owner of the mansion personally greets the guests who have come to celebrate Mavis's coming of age. The happy father has prepared a grand celebration. Frankenstein arrives in a mailbox and the staff has to assemble him piece by piece. Also making a spectacular appearance is Murray, the sand mummy and friend of the Count. Wanda remembers Martha, the birthday girl's mother, but Dracula interrupts the sad moment and, gathering everyone around him, once again reminds them of the people they should stay away from. Mavis rehearses a conversation with her father about the fact that he promised her a walk into the big world. To the girl's surprise, Dracula agrees from the doorstep, but suggests that the acquaintance begin with the nearest village. The village is quiet, and Mavis wanders through the streets trying to shout at least someone. It does not take long to call. The townspeople, armed with pitchforks, torches and garlic, start coming at her from all sides. The fact that they do not look like the living, and one of them even stands with a pitchfork in the back of his head, does not embarrass the girl, because she has nothing to compare it with. Looking at the savages, she is convinced that her father is right and flies home, not noticing that Dracula has remained in the village. Comforting his daughter, the Count feigns surprise, hoping that the girl will never leave home again. He quickly changes the subject, placating Mavis with a wormy cake. Praising the mercenaries once more, the Count returns to the preparations for the feast, when suddenly a man enters the lobby. Dracula takes the young man outside, trying to scare him, but the stalker Jonathan gets even more excited about it. New guests show up, and the Count has to hide the boy, so that his colleagues don't tear him apart. When he locks himself in the closet with Johnny, Dracula searches his backpack for weapons, but finds nothing but a dirty t-shirt and a cell phone. While the Count worries about what to do with the guest, the stalker looks around, thinking he's been to a carnival. This is what gives Dracula the idea. Having disguised the boy in a monster costume, he plans to take him away. Only Quasimodo stops the master, and while the cook demonstrates the dishes, Jonathan discovers that the castle is really filled with monsters. The guy's mood quickly changes. He's already happy to leave himself, if not for Mavis, with whom he has a zing. Dracula tries to lead the man out of the hotel several times, but something constantly interferes with them. Then Mavis appears at an unnecessary moment or in search of a way out. The couple wanders into a rehearsal party, and while the Count solves the issues, the girl finds a guest and gets acquainted with him. The Count advises the boy to pretend to be a monster and introduces him as Frankenstein's relative. To avoid unnecessary questions, he orders him to organize the festivities. The guy changes the program, calling the ensemble play old-fashioned and boring. Instead, Jonathan proposes a noisy number, which delights Mavis. An annoyed Earl takes everyone to a puzzle bingo and a game of crocodile, but even that bores the youngsters, so Johnny decides to show class on a scooter, surprising the monsters. While the guests are having dinner, the rat again reports to the cook that he smells a man, and Dracula hints to the boy that it is time to leave. Deciding to swim in the pool for goodbye, Johnny has a great time, forgetting about the makeup. Noticing this, the Count quickly stops the fun and drags the student into the woods, trying to hypnotize him into leaving. Only contact lenses foil his plan. Mavis catches up with the buddy in the woods and takes him to the roof. Thanks to the guy, the girl sees the sunrise for the first time. Sitting in the bathhouse with his friends, Dracula hopes that nothing else will spoil his plans, but by blabbing the wrong thing, he runs into a lot of resentment from his monstrous friends. His mood is further spoiled when a stumbling Jonathan falls into his lap. To punish the boy, the Count takes him to the banquet hall and tells him to rearrange the tables forever, except that the merry Jonathan finds a reason to have fun here too, making even the stern old man smile. Johnny suddenly disappears, and judging by the tracks, the wicked cook gets to him. The Count sends all the guards in search of the guest, and he takes Mavis away, guessing that she has fallen in love for the first time. All the warriors of the castle rush to find Quasimodo, but their attempts fail, and the guards have to appeal to their master for help. Dracula saves the boy from the split, at the same time knocking out the cook so that he did not reveal their secret to the guests. Realizing that the situation has gone far enough, Count takes the stalker to a secret room where his family portrait hangs. Dracula tells him of a tragedy that happened years ago. Angry people set fire to Dracula's castle, and he did not have time to save his wife. Since then, he has protected his daughter from humanity, trying to stay away. And now, when love has awakened in Mavis, the vampire does not know how he can keep her from harm. Johnny himself realizes that not all people will accept monsters, so in order not to torment his girlfriend, he agrees that he must leave as soon as possible. But now, Dracula already doubts the rightness of the idea, and he asks the boy to hold a feast and only then slip away. Without sleeping a wink in the embrace of the flowers of life, Werewolf jumps up at the bell. While Mavis chooses an outfit, Dracula leaves a gift for her from her mother, which he has kept for years. The grand party begins. At it, Johnny gives the birthday girl brightly colored light cards with the biggest cities in the world that she dreams of visiting, after which the girl drags her friend to the center of the hall and gives him her kiss. Seeing this, Dracula makes a scene and accidentally spills the beans about the setup in the village. The situation heats up, and then Quasimodo reports that the Count has brought a man to the hotel. As proof, he pulls off Johnny's suit. Despite this, Mavis hugs the guy, but he remembers the promise he made to Dracula and pushes the girl away, claiming that she cannot be his date. The offended guests leave the hotel, following the boy. But the owner doesn't care. He tries to mend his relationship with his daughter. Sitting on the roof with her, the old man tells Mavis that he will meet her monster again, which the girl admits that it was Dzing, and there will be no second time. Dracula turns to his friends and asks them to help him find Jonathan. In honor of this, the vampire even admits he's wrong about humans. Gathered, the monsters pick up the trail, and he leads them to the city, where it turns out no one is afraid of monsters for a long time. Also, when the crowd learns that the Count needs to get to the airport, everyone gets into a long corridor to protect him from the sun. After finally reaching the plane, Dracula convinces the boy to return, asking him to forgive his stereotypes and hypnotizing the pilots. Back in his daughter's room, Dracula gives her a backpack, on the back of which Jonathan meets her. The guy confesses to his friend that he too had a Dzing and that none of what he said was true. The party is brought to a close, no longer hiding the boy's origins, but Dracula is still not ready to relive his daughter's kiss.